imagine that our breath is coming into our heart and out through our heart. You can put your hand there if you want, at the center of your chest. Just breathing through your nose. Just breathing a little slower, deeper than usual.
Welcome to our first ever Temple Talks. We're going to be framing our conversations around the process of going within, and then from that space how we then meet the world and how the world then responds to us in turn, through different modalities, different mentors, different guides. There's just such an array of wealth out there at the moment, and we want to really bring that to the forefront of how we run our business and how we can also run our lives. I'm here with Karl Attkins this morning, known in his community as a big wave surfer and now emerging as a transformational life coach. I feel that in our lives we have a pivotal moment where there's a catalyst for change, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, first of all. So when it first started for me, like you said, I was chasing a professional career as a big wave surfer. I was doing quite well at it. I wasn't making tons of money or anything like that, but I managed to get myself in the right place at the right time, and I got nominated for some big wave awards, and I was very passionate about it, and I put everything that I had into it. I guess what happened was I was experiencing really, really high highs. I was going high as I could. I was surfing, 20, 30 foot waves, getting on a flight, booking a flight and jumping on the plane the next day, travel halfway around the world, surf giant, giant waves, come back, photos and posters and video clips and acknowledgement for doing that. I was having a good time. Most of the time it was pretty good. And with that, I was also trying to live almost like a little bit of a rock star life. I was partying and just like trying to live life on the edge. I had a quote. I was like, I'll sleep when I'm dead, or you only live once, kind of thing. And just everything I could do, I just did it. I worked hard. I was working as a gardener to fund a lot of this. I had sponsors that helped out with bits and pieces. But I would work hard as a gardener through the summer, and then a boss that I had was a really good guy and just let me come and go as I want. So my life was just big and eventful and extreme. Party all weekend, hop on a plane on Monday, go to Tasmania, surf a 20-foot wave, come back, party again. And I just wanted to keep that high until the saying goes, what comes up must come down. And I started crashing hard. I started burning out. At moments of just I was like 22, 23, then in a ball, just like crying on my bedroom floor, and my mum in there, just like not knowing what's going on. And scary times, because I had so much that I wanted and chased. I was doing the surfing, I was free, and with my beautiful girlfriend, I could work and get money, and I didn't have too many problems. So it was weird, because I was like, why am I in a ball crying on the floor? And I've got all these things that I want and I have and I achieved. I've got these. And then I've been doing some training with a few different trainers up in Queensland and some people in Sydney too, because I was learning how to manage stress and anxiety and overcoming my fears of surfing these giant waves, how to hold my breath for long periods of time, how to deal with the stresses of big waves. And so I applied that for the surfing, and it worked really well. I trained with some of the best trainers in Australia. And then I started using that on land when I was experiencing these downfalls. Then after a relationship ended with my girlfriend at the time, I met someone who was a Tai Chi teacher. I always wanted to learn it, and I started mowing his lawn, and he would teach me Tai Chi. And he was a beautiful man, and still is very close to me today, and a good teacher, a good friend of mine. And through those downtimes, he kind of took me under his wing and started teaching me about, my emotions and about the roller coasters and the ups and downs that I was experiencing. So that was the pivotal point and moment, was this when I started experiencing these really big downs, and then I met my dear brother Richard, who came and started to show me the way.
So I feel like there's these giants that you surf out in the ocean, and there's like an instinctual strength and element of bravery to conquer these physical energies. And then when you do turn within, there's almost like giant demons and emotions. And if you could talk a little bit about, I feel it's really brave to be still and sit with yourself and really go through that process. What was it like for you in releasing and feeling? Was it hard?
Yeah, definitely, and it's exactly what you just said. Was that on one level, I was conquering 20, 30 foot waves, and I felt comfortable in those situations. But then on another level, that life was conquering me, and I was experiencing, like I said, those down moments, and my identity had been built around being a big surfer. So I was called a big wave surfer, and it felt good. People in my town and all around were praising me and calling me a hellman and this big wave guy, and it felt good. And that's what I created, the identity of being this big wave surfer. And so what I started doing, like you said, was sitting with these feelings and the attachment that I had to surfing, because I realized if I got it, I was very happy, but as soon as it ended, I wasn't. And if I couldn't get it, I wasn't happy. And every, girlfriend, family, job, anything that I was doing came second. I would leave anything and anything if there was a good swell. I couldn't go on a holiday. I couldn't book a trip with my girlfriend. I couldn't commit to anything, because there was always a swell around the corner that I was going to go and get. I was going to make me someone and make me happy too. And so I started putting in the work that I was being taught about being able to sit and drop that attachment that I had to it, which was so difficult for me to do, because I think with so many people, and this is my case, that I was just escaping this inner fear and, as you said, these inner kind of demons that I had by just going out and living and the alcohol and the partying and the big wave stuff and the adrenaline, because in those moments you're not thinking necessarily about life, about what's ahead, about your fears and your career and all these things that weren't there. So when that ended, it was so, when it wasn't there, I just felt empty. And that was what led to the crying on the floor. So it took work to kind of drop the attachment that I had to that. But then as the kind of universe just gives you these things when you need them at the right moment, was when I broke my leg. So I broke my leg just surfing on a medium-sized wave at my local beach in Avalon. I snapped my leg, my shin, completely in half, and went to hospital. I had surgery. I was in hospital for like a week, and then 3 months I was in bed, learned to walk again, all that kind of thing, and then found out that it didn't heal properly and I had to go through the whole process again. So it was like 2 years of that. So I got gifted in a way the ability to be able to really sit with it. Like you said, I had to sit with it. And I was trying and practicing that, and then I just got dealt the card of my broken leg, and then I got to sit with it and had to sit with it. And it wasn't, all peace and love during that time. There was some dark times in that. But coming out of that, I definitely managed to lose my deep attachment that I had to surfing, and then I really started to go within myself and understand my emotions more and connect to God consciousness, and through meditation, through being able to regulate my emotions, it just really gave me the gift that I don't need anything on the external to be happy and to find my true self. And that's what that's what really happened and helped through that process. So it was a bad scenario, but it helped me so much through my process.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
You mentioned God consciousness, and I want if you could elaborate on how that term has come into your life, God consciousness.
Yeah. So I didn't go there, like the word God, when I first heard that from my teacher, when I was at school and doing we did scripture and things like the word God was just like, don't go there. I felt uncomfortable within myself, and I was in a little group that they just put to the side to keep quiet kind of thing. And then I started learning about like God consciousness, but we could call it spirit or the Tao, the universe, so many different things. But it was my first experience when I went to India and learned about a guru, Satya Sai Baba, who's a holy man in India, and he would talk about the word God, and then my teacher Richard would talk about God, and it just felt so weird for me. But now I get it and I see God as not a man up in the sky who runs everything, and it's not your God and my God and their God. I see everything as God, and I can connect to that word a lot more now. I know it doesn't sit comfortably with everyone. So God consciousness, to see it in each and every one of us. And there's many different words, but I found connecting to that higher source is what really kind of pulled me out of these worldly desires and attachments that I have.
I read on your blog that it's an innate intelligence that we have. It's like connecting to an intelligence within us that has all the tools, it has all the wisdom, and it's already there within us. And if we can really access that, we can then walk forward in life fulfilled from within rather than from without. And I would like to talk a little bit about heart math as a modality that you offer.
Yeah. Okay, so heart math I learned about when I was surfing big waves. I learned through a trainer of mine in Queensland. And once again, it was bizarre because he started talking about the heart, and I was a big wave hellman, and I was like, what's he talking about the heart for? And, connecting to your heart and this kind of thing. But what heart math does, it's a science-based modality that helps people with stress and anxiety, and it helps you connect to your heart. It's very tangible because it's all backed by science. So you can connect to a sensor or a program on a computer, and it measures your heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is you have your heartbeat, which might be 70 beats per minute, and then when you have the fitness watches or you go to the doctors to get checked. The heart rate variability is the space in between each heartbeat. So you might have a beat and it might be 0.01 seconds, beat 0.02 seconds, always changing. And the physical heart gets affected by our emotions, such as fear, frustration, anger, anxiety, worry. And then the heart sends a message to the rest of our body. And then the opposite to that, love, appreciation, care, gratitude, our heart also responds to that. So it might be like when you're angry or frustrated at something and then you accidentally stub your toe, or you break something accidentally because you're not thinking straight. And so then what happens is, I just lost it there, I have to change the script.
Sorry, I can just
So I started learning about heart math, and I was doing it to overcome my fear and anxiety of surfing big waves. And so I had to prepare for the event, and I had to adapt throughout the event, which was getting wiped out on 20-foot waves and then being able to recover and do it all again. And then I had to learn to recover after it. So heart math is just a simple tools and techniques that help us connect to our heart to then help us regulate our emotions.
Amazing. I feel like there's a big movement that we're seeing through the world of the masculine archetype stepping forward and this healed version stepping forward, and I feel like you represent that so beautifully. I would like to discuss like what you feel being a man is in society, and perhaps what difficulties you had growing up, going through adolescence and being a man, if that resonates with you.
Sure. So I guess the one part for me was to be a man is I wanted to be a hellman. I like that word, hellman. I wanted to be a hellman. And so that was for me, was just being wild and, like I said, was chasing big waves, not really caring, partying, living on the edge and doing that. So I was trying to be a hellman. But yeah, we often don't, as men, I think many of us, and me included, there's times to feel into our emotions and to own up that, to put forward and ask for help because we are crying on the floor and, having these huge come downs and not really knowing why. Is that, we don't have, our vulnerability isn't there as much as females quite often. Why we're just conditioned in that way. But for me, that was a huge part of it, was being authentic and being vulnerable. Like I said, we're doing, learning about heart math and learning about connecting to my heart and having a devotion to your higher self. And then it's kind of, no, don't go there, like, she'll be right, in Australia. No, I'll be right, So I was lucky to have teachers in my life that gave me an understanding of that, to be more open. I think that's what so many more of us males need to do. One of the highest youth suicide rates in the world, and it's from the age of 15 to 55, the leading cause of death in males is suicide, which is so sad. But there is a way out, and I guess I went through those downs and experiences I had, that being vulnerable and authentic and being able to ask for help is what really shifted me. And same in my coaching and doing talks like this, and I have fear inside of me at times of thinking, what are the surfer guys going to think about me? What are my friends going to think about me? But there's something deeper inside of me that wants to share my experience, because I know that there's other people out there going through what I was going through. So if I can maybe cop a little bit of slack from old friends or people that, think I'm into the airy fairy stuff or whatever, it's okay, because I'd rather, be there to help those people that are kind of struggling a bit like I was.
It's really amazing. What are some tips that you could give to young men wanting to seek a more holistic spiritual path? And where can they find you? So I know you've got your blog and now you're on your Instagram. So yeah, if you could.
Yeah, well, I think it's like, asking the question, I heard this, I got reminded of this the other day. I was thinking like, are you happy, and do you love yourself? And I was reflecting on that, because it was like, some people maybe, they are happy and they do love themselves, and they're in their hearts and things are going okay for them. But then maybe if you ask yourself that question and, you're not really sure, then maybe it is time to start, seeking a different path, or knowing that there's something else out there. Because, from my experience, was growing up and, like I said, drinking and partying and, the drugs and alcohol and doing that. It's just, that was your escape, and that was like, what else am I going to do? But there is other ways out there, and other people out there, other groups out there, and another way to live. So I think in those moments, if you feel that, something's not quite right for me, if you start seeking, and, there is on social media and the different platforms, there are so many ways to, so many amazing people out there, serving people and helping people. So if you have that feeling within yourself, to be able to start seeking and putting it out there to the universe or spirit or God or whatever you want to call it, and just, I need some help. Send me someone to help me. And there's lots of meditation groups, in most suburbs these days, and yoga studios and things. So it's searching and just being authentic and vulnerable, asking people, you know, is there something else out there? And then just giving things a go, just seeing, feeling within your own heart what works for you and what doesn't, and you know, what works for me might not, you know, work for you. But there's many different ways out there. So I think it's just being able to seek and look and ask and try different things. See what makes you feel good and what makes you feel happy.
Thank you. I feel really honoured to have experienced this morning with you, and I think you're really amazing and really brave, and yeah, I hope that through this we can spread that message to just seek and to ask, and if that hindering within us is that, you know, maybe we don't love ourselves wholly, that we can, there's stuff out there. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.